Welcome again to A Quest for Metal, and today we are doing a ranking for death metal bands. I've done one for black metal, I did one for metal in general, and now we're going to do one for death metal. This is going to be a fun one. I picked one here on Tier Maker, and I know all these bands, so there's not going to be any where I'm kind of like, I don't really know, because I know all these ones, so it should be fun to see where I rank them. Now before I start, tell me in the comments below, where would you rank these bands? What's your favourite band on this list? And, what's your favourite death metal band in general? Let me know, and let's get this fucking started. Now, there's a couple on this list I'm kind of like, on. Main one being Necrophagist. I think I'll probably put that in D for now. I don't think it's terrible. I actually really enjoy Necrophagist. I love the technicality of the music. It's just, compared to all these other bands, I don't think they can hold a candle. I don't think they can hold a candle to any of these other bands. And I much prefer like the old school kind of death metal sound, the more melody, more groove in my death metal, rather than the technicality wankery stuff. I'd probably put Necrophagist in D. I still love them, but it doesn't mean it's a D tier band. It's just compared to these bands, it's going here. And I think also Possessed is going to go here as well. Just because, yeah, sure, they started all with death, but listenability wise, it sounds more thrashy. I do love both their albums, but I'd rather listen to all the other bands on the list. So that being said, it has to probably go with Necrophagist, just because I want to listen to the other bands more than Possessed, I prefer the other sounds of the other bands to Possess, sound. Because Possessed album, it doesn't feel like, especially the first one, Seven Churches, it feels more like first wave of black metal, like Venom. It feels more like Venom and Bathory than it does death metal. Like, it's weird. And then Dark Throne's first album, pure death metal. So they should put Dark Throne's album on here instead of Possessed. It's weird, but yeah, that being aside, that's a topic for a fucking another day. Possessed is going D tier as well. So C tier. Now, let's get some of the other technical stuff out of the way. Actually, is it technical or is it brutal? I'm not too sure. Cryptopsy. I'm going to put in C, C for Cryptopsy. Non-Servile, yeah, it's a fucking masterpiece. They are an amazing band, but I prefer the others. I prefer other bands on the list, personally. It's evil, it's dark, but it's not quite cavernous. It's not quite bleh, doesn't quite have it. It's still brutal as fuck, and I still adore it. So Cryptopsy is amazing, but for the context of the list, it's going in C. Now, Dismember, I think, is going to go in C as well, just because I've only heard the one album. So I can't really gauge them like an ever-flowing stream. I've only heard that. So that's going to go into C tier, because it was a fucking awesome album. But I've not checked them out further. So I have to put it in the midpoint. I can't put it lower, because it's not that bad. But I can't put it higher because I don't know it as well as every other band on the list. I've only heard the fucking classic album. So that's one I need to go through and dive through the discography. Dying Fetus, probably going to put here as well. I love the vocals. I love the latest album as well. The latest album fucking slays. And they got loads of good albums. So this is like high C, C+. I could almost put it into B, but I'm going to put it C for now because there's just too many good albums. Too many good bands on this list. I can't put everything into S or A. So this is going into C tier as well. And finally, Incantation's going here. Sure, Incantation's more typical death metal, so it should be higher for me, but I don't know. Something about them doesn't tickle my fancy as much as some of the other bands on this list. I don't know why. Because Onwards to Golgotha, is that how you say it? Is a fucking masterpiece, but when it's comparing to like some of these others like Bolt Throw and shit, I can't. Oh no. It doesn't have the riffs. It lacks the riffage, but still an amazing album, still an amazing band, and yes, C tier for now. That could change though. B tier, I think B for Bloodbath. Yeah, Bloodbath. Solid band. Love the evil atmosphere. Love the kind of bloody lyrics and themes of the songs. They've had a couple of singers. I don't know which one's my favourite. I mean, Mikkel's in it, so probably Mikkel. But Nightmares Made Flesh, oh, what a masterpiece that is. I know that's not Mikkel, but it's a masterpiece nonetheless. Yeah, Bloodbath's awesome. B tier. But it's not like a classic band, so I'm not going to put it a bit higher. So B tier for Bloodbath. Deicide. Deicide. That's going to go into B as well. I'm not going to put it in D just because it starts with D. Deicide's a fucking awesome band. I've got into them recently, but the singing is just fucking intense and furious, and they're unstoppable. They're an unstoppable, unrelenting force in death metal, and I love them. Now, next up, I'm going to put Gorguts into B. Now, Gorguts I have a love-hate relationship with. The first 2 albums, I fucking adore. And if they kept like that, I'd put them to S, but the rest, I'm kind of getting my head around. It's a bit too much for me. Coloured Sands and Obscura, I'm kind of like... confusing. First 2 albums, though, fucking amazing. So, but I am starting to get my hooks into the proggy shit. I'm not quite there yet, though. So for the time being, it's in B tier. But maybe once I've got used to the bibbidi-boobidi technical shit, maybe it'll get higher. Maybe it'll get A or S. Because people say Gorguts is like the best thing since sliced bread. And I think they're fucking awesome, but yeah, I need to get more into the technical side, so B for now. Next up, Suffocation. More technical death metal, so I love it, but, you know, it is technical, so it's not going to go as high as some of the others. So it's going to go into B tier, but some of their albums are fucking flawless. Effigy the Forgotten is one of the best death metal albums, but sound-wise, yeah, doesn't have that kind of evil, cavernous core death metal that I love, so yeah, going into B. And I think finally I'm going to put Carcass here. Melodic death metal, also grindcore. It's a bit weird. They've had a lot of albums and most of them fucking hit. Most of them hit hard. Heartwork is perfect. Surgical Steel is perfect. I'm looking forward to the new album as well, so Carcass is a fucking great band. A bit different to all these others because, you know, it did start melodic death metal. It was the pioneer for that, so fucking fantastic band. Yeah, high B tier. Almost A. And next up to the big daddies, the big giants, and I'm going to put Autopsy in A. This is the death I love. This is kind of doomy, evil death. Mental Funeral, Severed Survival. Oh, so good. So good. One of my favourite death metal albums of all time. I love the sound of Autopsy. I love just the album arts aside from Shit Fun, because that's fucking just the worst art ever made. But yeah, I love Autopsy to death. One of the best death metal bands. I'd easily listen to it over any of the ones I just mentioned. So, high A for Autopsy. Again, Entombed, another great, amazing Swedish death metal band. That's going into A as well. I mean, Left Hand Path. Come on. Left Hand fucking Path. Another masterpiece. Another fucking masterpiece. Even Wolverine Blues is kind of interesting. It's a bit different, but it's interesting. So, love the sound of Entombed. One of the best death metal bands, again, like Autopsy. So it's going into A. This one may trigger that it's not S, but Morbid Angel going into A as well. You all know Morbid Angel. Fucking fantastic death metal band. Did a ranking of them recently. Love almost all their albums, but there is some that I'm kind of like, iffy on. Especially one called Illud. But if that wasn't in the discography, maybe it'd be S. But it is in the discography, so it's not going fucking S tier. And also Kingdoms Disdained, I was kind of like, So, yeah, it is going to go in A. But the early albums are fucking magnificent. Next up, Obituary. Again, similar sound to like Morbid Angel and stuff. It's got that low kind of evil death metal. Slowly We Rot, Cause of Death, World Demise. Too many good albums. Love Obituary, one of my favourites, so A tier. Pestilence as well. Another great fucking album. And they have a lot of good ones. Not just Consuming Impulse. They have a lot of other good fucking ones. Testimony of the Ancients, come the fuck on. amazing album. That might be even better, but yeah, love the sound of it. Again, these all kind of have the same sound, you can see. But yeah, A tier, fucking adore Pestilence. Next up, Nile, that Egyptian sounding. This is the most unique one here, probably. Love that Egyptian sound that they have. For those whom the gods detest, I really love for some reason. Loads of people don't like that because it's too slow, but I don't know, I love that one. I love that one. And of course, Annihilation of the Wicked is fantastic, so yeah. Love Nile. One of the first death metal bands I got into, so it's going high A. Now I'm going to finish it off with one band, and it pains me to do this. I wanted to put into S, but I was kind of like, I'm just going to have 2 in S, because my own self-imposed rules for some reason. But yeah, Cannibal Corpse is going into A tier. Love all their albums. Love the sound. Sure, you could say the cookie cutter, but sometimes you just want a nice cookie, you know? And there's nothing better than a good, evil Cannibal Corpse album. So Cannibal Corpse, A tier, fucking adore them. Now we get to the S, and there's 2 left. First up, Death. Death, one of the pioneers, Chuck a legend. All their albums are fantastic. I prefer the early ones, like Leprosy, Spiritual Healing, Scream Bloody Gore. But the other ones are amazing as well, Symbolic, come on. Flawless Band, not a bad album. Just like my next one, Bolt Thrower, also S. Riff Machines, the best riff writers out of this entire fucking list. Every song just has, every fucking song has something I want to bang my head to. They're amazing. They're probably my favourite death metal band now. It was Death, now it's Bolt Thrower. But both S tier to me. Both S tier. Both 2 of my favourite bands of all time, not just death metal. 2 of my favourite bands of all time. So yeah, there's my list, my ranking for death metal bands. What do you think of my list? Would you change anything? I think I'm pretty happy with it. Let me know what your favourite death metal band is here and your favourite death metal album. Let me know and we'll see you again on another Quest for Metal.